and welcome, Gemini, to your weekly reading for October 27th through to the 3rd of November. Let's get you 3 of the Mother Peace Tarot cards to start off this week. Jupiter is retrograde in your sign, and Mercury is in the sign of, let's see, is it Scorpio or Sagittarius? I feel that, by the end of the week, we'll have Mercury in Sagittarius at 0 degrees. So it starts out at 20 degrees. So we want to focus on that 2 of feeling and sensation. Cancer is your second house. So you guys have your emotions to work with. And we got the World and the Lovers. So maybe someone's coming to you from the other side of the planet to meet you and see if they can get closer to you. But as with every romantic relationship, any close relationship, even if it's to a project that you adore, there's always a learning curve. We have the Ten of Swords, and this is speaking to overdoing it, being a little bit too hurtful maybe with words in the past, or too provoked by ideas. And I would say provoked, because in the Lovers card we see that on both sides people are fighting, and then they have to bridge their differences. So rather than take on this energy, it feels like maybe you guys are birthing and being birthed into a new cycle. We see Lady Liberty here, or the Divine Mother, dancing as all these figures hold on to one another and almost welcome in this exciting time of change. Some people are being held by their hair, some people are being held by their feet, but it looks like everyone's connected. And maybe something that came up for me in dreams, Gemini, was the feeling of like, okay, what's the overlapping story between all of my romantic involvement? You know, all of my stories have a similar narrative, maybe not the same between partners, but it's like, what was the takeaway, and how do we start to bridge a new connection and make our life more dynamic rather than falling into old patterns? We have Yi, the sun. To have the World and the Sun with the Lovers, it feels like, you know, you guys might be falling in love with yourself in a way that's really moving and makes someone actually really attracted to you, or you become super attractive because you know where your heart is fixed on, and it's not anything that's out of reach. It's not something outlandish. It's not like you are starting from scratch and building to get a PhD in a month. You know, it's like you're really deliberately going to walk down a path and you're going to pursue it with all of your energy that you can, but you're not going to have yourself be cooked or fried and, you know, served up on a platter somewhere, because you know where your boundaries are. And as we're in Scorpio season, it's boundaries in daily life. So it's like, you know, if you set yourself up to have 5-minute breaks in between 1,000 tasks, you might feel burnt out doing that consistently after a month. Whereas if you have, you know, someone spoke to this recently, an artist who he was able to hire a trainer, someone who wasn't there with him in the gym, but they crafted his workout so that he was able to attain some really nice goals and to have things, birth. This is speaking to creation. Ano. And we see that, this is speaking also to circular progression and not just a linear trajectory, which is very masculine. You know, it's very phallic to think about a line, but to think of a circle, just like with this World card, and then with Ano, we're seeding our intention to really enjoy our daily life and to have those boundaries that keep us in a place of like a happy medium where we feel like we're on a high incline, we're getting a lot done, but we're not giving away our energy for free. We're not falling into old relationship patterns that eventually drain us. We have the Sacred Well from the Healing Water Oracle. Replenishment, self-care, giving from a place of plenty. And look at how that crystal is on top. And there are lots of orchids. And this person feels like they are honoring their womb and their heart space, opening something above them to just pour out. So it might be a mirror. They're very enmeshed with nature, and there's a fountain in the image. So you want to make sure that you are giving from a place of plenty. So you're not waking yourself up during winter when we're supposed to be hibernating, you know, at 4 a.m. to start bench pressing 3,000 pounds, and then you have to go teach a class for 8 hours and then you have to go take care of your neighbor's cats because you said you would. It's like, how much is realistic? How much is actually you just pushing just to make sure that you have a certain number, or that you have some favors coming your way, rather than trusting and surrendering to what's for you? Because what's for you will not go past you. This was something that Taurus, I told them to affirm. And Uranus, Taurus, they are in your 12th house. So it's your subconscious. They also call the 12th house the house of hidden enemies. So we have release. Maybe you need to release some hidden enemies. And you don't have to know who they are, but they could even be your own subconscious thoughts. It could be what you believe you're worthy of, what you believe that you can achieve. And that could be something that's kind of breaking you down after a certain point. So let's look at Mercury through the week. 20 is the feeling degree. And we have Mercury finishing the week at 0, which is a Scorpio degree. So it's about boundaries. But that is your 7th house, hosting Venus and then Mercury at the end of the week. So we want to be able to communicate our needs. We want to be able to communicate our values. We also want to be able to take ourselves places. We want to be able to reward ourselves for good behavior, for following the regimen. Maybe you guys have changed your lifestyle and you're not consuming alcohol anymore, or sweets after 6 o'clock in the evening. And it's like you want to reward yourself with good behavior with different kinds of activities. So that could be like lighting a candle until you go to bed, which you don't want to blow out your candle. You want to get a candle snuff because they say it's blowing away your blessings. And on top of just making sure that you're rewarding yourself for good behavior, it's something that takes you out of your normal. So tea is something that I'm really getting into. I cut caffeine for the past about over a month now. And I'm having tea. I'm steeping in oil-based fragrances. It's just something to change up my sensory perception and add more to the mundane. So I'm going to look at your day of the week, Mercury day. And let's cruise through. I'm on astro-seek.com. Yeah, at the end of the week, we also have a nice kite formation in the sky with Neptune at 27 degrees Pisces, Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn. That is your 8th house. We have Mercury at 29 degrees Scorpio. And we also have Mars at 29 degrees Cancer. So the moon does cross over Mercury before it hits that 0 degrees. Let's see, from the second to the, it's probably like within hours, but on Sunday, November 3rd, we'll have the moon at 29 degrees Scorpio, sort of catching us up on any feelings that we needed to maybe express, that we either had a good time expressing or it was complicated, it was complex. And I would say that we're able to express ourselves well based on how much preparation we've given ourselves, based on how much we've been able to be with our thoughts, be with our feelings, and not get too caught up in them. So on Wednesday, the 30th of October, you might want to honor your ancestors and maybe even the parts of you at present. I don't think it goes that much further, but there's a hungry ghost celebration, and it's for people who passed away suddenly, or I think I was looking at this past week, guys, so I'm sorry if I skip over anything. 27th through the 3rd. This is one of those moments where I'm like, what did I plan for this week ahead? Yeah, okay, good. So yeah, it's one of those moments where it's like time is just slipping through. So I'm looking at Wednesday, November 6th, and that feels like it's going to be a big day. We're going to have Mars moving into your 3rd house of Leo, and just anticipate that we're having a Mars retrograde. It might be a good time to mention that. So how you communicate your talents will be coming up for a new gesture, a new factor-based, like a new decision that you may make based on factors that you come to as Mercury is transiting your 7th house of partnerships. And maybe it's like you haven't been able to sit with yourself. Maybe you've been coming upon some more challenging subjects in relationships, or like, you know, maybe you guys are at the end of your Saturn return and it's getting a little bit new. You're past the thicket, but now you're in a new space with yourself. The world has changed. You have changed. Okay, I'm going to read these cards. Meanings. The Ten of Swords is one I wanted to look at. Mental trips carried to the extreme, so there's nothing left to do but jump into the water. Let go and move from the head, air, into the heart, water, extremism. So the Ten of Swords with the sacred well is speaking to releasing these bonds that we have with the mind, and releasing, you know, this mundane fixed daily life of mine is so fixed that nothing will ever change. Well, it's giving that you're turning a corner and you're going to have a rebirth where you feel like you really do love yourself, and because of that you're going to attract a romantic partner. And it's just about you getting clear on your thoughts and not the mental trips, because we want heart-based thinking, heart coherence. You can get the app Heart Math, and it allows for you to measure your nervous system, your heart, and to see how in sync they are. And it's just something to take into account, because, you know, when your mind starts erasing, you want to be able to slow it down, Gemini, and keep yourself from really believing in those thoughts and feelings that might come up that are challenging you and your relationships. Ano seed is intention, and we do have a new moon this week on November 1st, so it's a good time to go into that sacred well, to take a sacred bath, to get into a body of water. I know it's chilly in the northern hemisphere, but you are going to have to devote to more love for yourself and your intentions. All right, so and that's interesting. It's the last card in the mono deck. So it's like you're completing a cycle of maybe taking things too far, because Jupiter is in your sign. It's your 7th house energy, and your energy, Mercury, is going into the 7th house, so you can start to communicate maybe the things you've been learning over the past year to 6 months. So the teaching of Ano is reflected in Western proverbs such as you sow, shall you reap, and be careful what you ask for, you just might get it. Perhaps this is why spiritual teachers warn against attempting to manipulate and control reality. Buddhist and Hindu teachers warn that when you begin meditation, you may experience new psychic abilities and power, yet they advise students to ignore them. Stories are told of those who use their newfound powers for their own gain, often straying from the path of enlightenment. Jesus Christ taught that the way to pray is to surrender one's will to the will of God. One prayer that reflects these teachings says, "I will do thy will." So we have the calabash on the upside, opening down. Okay. Resist the temptation to secure a desired outcome, Gemini. Any action should be taken for its own sake, not with any hidden agenda. So that's where this kind of Lover's card is looking at these two people fighting separately and then wanting to come together and merge. And it's like this masculine might be fighting his own toxic masculine, and this feminine, I did it backwards, but this feminine might be fighting her own toxic feminine energies, so that she can form the bridge, or that he could form the bridge to his divine counterpart. And it's funny, you see how this card kind of matches this view of the mountains, this sunrise perspective of where I'm physically at. So have courage and trust that the universe will provide for all of your needs. You do not have to manipulate or force anything or anyone. By allowing things to work out differently from what you want or expect, you may discover possibilities far more exciting and wonderful than anything you could have come up with on your own. So let's see. Yeah, I guess this is a time to just release attachments to any outcomes. And then I'm going to read Yi, the Sun. She's 51. And as the sun is going through the first decan of Scorpio, it's just figuring out our boundaries with ourselves in our daily life. Again, so that 4 a.m. bench pressing to taking care of the neighbors' cats and dogs and hoping that they'll take care of you later is backwards. We want to make sure that everything is coming from the heart at this time. Yi, the sun. When you shine your light into the world, you will attract various people and experiences that match or challenge your commitment to being empowered. Right now, you are receiving information to know which choice to make, which opportunity to take, and which person to trust. The Aboriginal Australian sun goddess Yi illuminates your path in her rays and brings clarity as she shows you what you need to know. A light also attracts a lot of bugs, so know that you may attract those who see themselves smaller as a result of your empowerment. This conditioning needs to be healed in so many people in the world. All you can do is be incandescent, joyful, kind, and truthful, and the world will begin to reflect that goodness back to you. The goddess, she is happy to help you shine. And the alignment message. Sometimes the light shines too bright and too hot for you to achieve your aims. Although the sun is bright, getting too close to its fire will risk everything burning to the ground. Do you really want to know all that is hidden from you now? Are you ready to face the harsh light of illumination that rips your old ideas and shows you what else is possible? Your alignment task is to be bold and brave. Don't shrink away. Know that this is all part of the process of evolution that calls forth the bright sunlight to show you the shadows so you cannot escape your own denial. Allow the truth to burn through your defenses, then you will be set free. When the sun goddess Yi comes with her bright light, it's a day of reckoning that will lead to only miracles. And it feels like this. Tapping into the wellspring will open up your light. Tapping into your emotions as your second house resources, not as what other people are showing up and presenting to you, but tapping into that wealth of feeling will take you so far, Gemini. And let's see where Aries is for you. Yeah, this is in your social sphere. So Chiron's there at 20 degrees. And at the start of the week, Jupiter is also forming a sextile to Chiron in Aries. So it's expanding on maybe what needs healing specifically. And let's see. Mercury will be at 20 degrees, I believe, at the start of the week. Yeah. So that's just forming a quincunx energy. It might be hard to really acknowledge some of this healing at the start of the week, but by the end of the week, when Mercury is at 0 degrees Scorpio, we're just going to feel all the more healed as we open up to it. So Gemini, if you guys want to go deeper into this reading, I would advise that you look at your 3rd and 9th house, what you're communicating and what you believe. Go to astro.com, check out your chart under, you've likely seen Placidus, look at equal and KOCH, Coke. Equal acknowledges the symmetry of your soul, and then Coke shows you which houses just need that much more attention and energy in this lifetime to attain that symmetry, that harmony, and that divine alignment. Thank you guys so much for watching. To my subscribers, go on ahead and check out your sun, moon, and rising message if you want to go deeper into this energy and absorb a little bit more information to help you navigate. Until next time, Gemini, all of my aloha.